Even though I want to disagree with you, I get where you're coming from. When I see black people talking about racism, all that stuff, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? You guys have food, you have EBT, all this thing, and you're here shouting about somebody is racist too. Just leave that person and move on. I feel that way. Like, why are they always like complaining? But when Black Lives Matters started happening, like, I sat down, I said, I need to actually know why these people are pained. And if we look at the history, what they've done to them, like if you actually sit down, watch some documentaries, how they were maltreated, I don't think if I'm actually born, I will forgive those people. I don't care. It's easier for us Africans that were raised in Africa to feel like they're complaining because we were raised through struggle. Like I barely even have water, and you have water, you're complaining. But then it's not about the basic necessity or about how we are raised. We are raised like, I don't want to say way better. We might not have resources, but there are some way, like our own people will not look down on us or put us behind. So it's in their nurture that way. Like they just can't overlook it. And if you sit down and watch everything that the forefathers have been through for you, I changed my mind. No, they need to be angry. However, they should still move forward.
We really need to talk about this. We need to talk about it because this is a very interesting conversation that's supposed to be had among black people. And she asks that why is that African American people, black people are always complaining. Then she gets why they are always complaining. At the end of the day, she was like, they should also move on. I want to know what you all think down in the comment section about this particular topic. Hey guys, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Maria Davis, and I'm back again with another interesting video. I would like to know your thoughts about this down in the comment section. I have few stitches to share with you all, then I'll come back and talk about it.
Where you're coming from. When I see black people talking about racism, all that stuff,
This is a really good conversation. And I think what she's saying really is a product of media and marketing. And what I mean by that is when I was a child growing up, most of the images that I was given about Africans in Africa was that of hunger and emaciated children not having enough food and shelter. Or the old Tarzan movies. Like it was the feeding of what it meant to be African. Okay. On the reverse side, I am pretty sure that Africans living in Africa or Africans that lived in European countries, or even Caribbeans who are also of African descent, saw America as this land of the free, land of the brave, land of the home, land of capitalism. You can go there with nothing and make something of yourself. But it also showed African Americans in a negative light as lazy, all the stereotypes, lazy, thugs, killing each other, so on and so forth. So while we Americans and mostly African Americans had this way that we thought Africans basically stereotyped African Americans as the things that this lady is describing in the video, and did not see or understand the systemic oppression that still exists to this day. And even more so because Africans chose to assimilate into American culture, American values, which are also closer to white Christian conservative values. They aligned themselves with non-African American ideals. And what I mean by that is they pushed themselves as far away as they could from African Americans because it benefited them to not be in alignment with African Americans, because we were looked down. We were looked down upon Americans as a whole, if that makes sense, you know. So it was a benefit to Africans or any POC, non-POC, to say, no, we are not like them. And now that Africans are clearly seeing that, no, there is a systemic, if you don't open your mouth as an African, you're just black. You're just black. Before you talk, you're just black. And when you're just black in America, you are susceptible to all the things that happen to just black people. And it changes the conversation. And I hope we can continue to talk about it.
Even though I want to disagree with you, I get where you're coming from. When I see black people talking
On top of that, I appreciate you too for looking into our history and everything. But did you even? I could get a little deep, but I ain't got that much time. We need to do the same thing about y'all history, but since we're not over there, so we're not going to do too much studying about y'all history, just to be honest, because we're not over it. But as soon as y'all get over here, y'all start seeing the things and that's going over in America, and you can see why we complain. I mean, you don't understand why we complain so much. But just, we've been over here for 400 years, and Africans can come over here day one and have an advantage over us. Day one, 24 hours. You could get grants. You don't have to pay taxes for, I think 5 years. Just like any other ethnicity. We've been here for 400 years. We can't get the grants that we're denied on a wide scale of business loans, any kind of loans. Us Americans that we built this country off our ancestors, we can't get loans like anybody else. You all can get loans, grants, and everything as soon as y'all get here. It's a fact. We was forbidden to read and learn up to 150 years ago. Yeah, we hung from trees because we try to educate ourselves. Yeah. They ate us. Yeah. Them colored people, they ate us. Consumed. Picnic. When we did thrive, Tulsa, Oklahoma, you doing your research, they bombed us. U.S. planes, United States airplanes bombed black people's neighborhoods on U.S. soil. That was 100 years ago. It wasn't nothing but 100 years ago. Facts. Yeah. Black people don't have please, listen, I go to African spot at least once a week and eat food. I can show you downstairs, and I love the herbs and everything, man. The food is good, fufu, everything. I'm into that. And I constantly learn what y'all like and dislike about America. But this is the plantation. Yeah, that's why y'all like to go back to Africa to visit, because y'all don't do nothing but work here. It's designed like that.
even though I want to disagree with you, I get where you're coming from. When I see black people talking
Okay, so I watched this video that I'm stitching, and honestly speaking, I think this lady is ignorant, like really ignorant. And the reason why I say that is because at a point she basically says that if someone is racist towards you, just leave them and move on. Like, it's that easy. When there's like systematic racism that everybody talks about every day. And then she ends it with, oh, I understand why they're angry, but like they just need to move forwards. And honestly, I felt like people need to start doing their research and reading up on Black American history. If Black Americans did not fight the fight that they fought and still fight till today, people from Africa that come to America will not have rights. I think we need to fucking understand that. You people need to start doing your research and stop chatting shit, please.
I know some people would say African Americans and Africans, they are two different people, we are not the same. But let me tell you what I think. My own opinion is we are all the same. Forget where we are now. Forget the fact that we are not all together. Everybody's, we are all the same. And regardless of how we're brought up, let me tell you, for people that don't know, I'm in Africa. That's where I stay. And the kind of, the media and the way they've told us about Africans in America, the image they've pictured, they made us to see Africans in America like they're thugs, they're bad gangs, they always carry guns, they braid their hair, they are gangsters. That is the image. That's for the men. Then the women as well, They're just everywhere, they are lousy. That's how we in Africans, that is how they made us see Africans in America. So most of the time, people in Africa, or probably a person that went to the United States and come back to Africa, will see that the dress sense, the way they talk, the way they behave, the way they walk changes. Probably by then, they now bring down the trouser, like they're sagging the trouser. They're already braiding their hair. They have their hair pressed, like earrings, nose ring, and all of that. And that is not something that was normally done here in Africa. So that is the picture they've painted it for us here in Africa. That you don't have, when you go to America, try to stay away from black people there because they are gangsters. They're gonna corrupt you. I feel like that is what they actually made it look like, but it's not like that. And that is what media actually is showing. And when it comes to the racism, we in Africa, we might not even experience, in short, most of the times we might not even experience it at all. The only thing we might be experiencing is tribalism right here. But you cannot be talking about racism with someone in America that is experiencing it on a daily basis. That is, the system has already made it there. Even if they are not experiencing it directly, the system is there, and you can see that the racism, everything is there. But we in Africa, we might not be able to understand what is going on. Thank God for media. Thank God for social media. Everything is already coming out, and we are seeing everything, the history that was not taught in school. We are now seeing it, and we see that these things are what our ancestors went through. So we that were back here in Africa, and some that are in America, they might be facing different things. So now, but the last part of what she said was, okay, they should actually move on. It's very easy for you to say people to move on for stuff that you've not experienced. I really don't. It's very difficult for you to just, it's easier for you to say it to people that are experiencing something that you are not experiencing, and then you just move on. It's just said, it was the other way. Will you be able to move on as a person with everything you're going through? Will you be able to move on easily like that? So this conversation is very wide. It's very, very wide. And I wish to speak more about it. Let me know what you all think down in the comment section. Let's continue the conversation down in the comment section. As I said earlier, my name is Maria Davis. And thank you all so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoy.